might sound a little bit outlandish. This is the way that I remember it happening. All right, so when I was 18 years old, I graduated from high school, and I moved from the Hudson Valley region of New York to New York City to study musical theater. And I moved to a tenement building on the Upper West Side called the Stratford Arms. My first memory of pulling up in my mother's Mazda 626 sedan and getting out was of a giant, 16-foot tall, hissing union rat. The Stratford Arms was undergoing some controversial renovations, and as I sort of crossed the picket line with a doomed houseplant in my hands and my skater jeans, nobody called me a scab, but I still couldn't help but sort of take the whole thing kind of personally. Growing up in upstate New York, no matter where I went, there was a small chance, however remote, that I would feel welcome. But in New York City, where you can't throw a rock without hitting a musical theater hopeful, the welcome mat for last year's drama club president is worn all the way through. And in its place, I was greeted with this giant, leering, sneering, gnarly-toed rat. And that wasn't it. That wasn't it. When I got to my room at the Stratford Arms, I was also greeted by an insurgent population of roaches that just kind of fought tooth and nail. They don't have teeth, but whatever they have instead, they fought with it to battle to battle me out. It was like the rats and the roaches had sort of staked their claim first, and I was the pest, and that's how I felt in New York City. So one day, I was grooming myself in my little vanity sink mirror. First, the Stratford Arms had this sort of European arrangement where I had to share a bathroom and a shower with everybody, but for $750 a month, the free market provided me with a sink and a mirror, where I would style my dyed blue hair and apply glitter to my cheek and smear my lips with watermelon gloss. I was 18 and skinny. What do you want? So this one day, there I am in my vanity, and I was very delicately applying tiny silver half moons and stars to my eyelid. When, from behind a case of contact lens solution, this giant cockroach emerged Godzilla-like. It was big enough to choke with two hands. And it was waving these body-length antennae at me, like it was going to carve a crimson R into my forehead as a warning. I let out a shriek so high-pitched, I'm sure that Mariah Carey broke into a cold sweat across town. And I started scouring every available surface for something to address this Mesozoic era creature in front of me, and keeping my, looking around but not trying to take my eyes off the roach, because when you take your eyes off the insect and you look back, it's gone, and you're like, I know they're somewhere. So I'm doing all of this, and finally I settled for a can of hairspray. Oh. I didn't have anything else. So I was like, all right, hairspray. And I take the hairspray and I aimed it at the roach, and I let loose with a fragrant, effete stream of hair product. Having emptied out the entire contents of the hairspray can, I succeeded in annoying the roach. It jumped down to the ground with a thud that sent hairline cracks through the linoleum. It felt like that. And started to chase me. Around the room. Don't ever believe anybody when they tell you that everything is bigger in Texas unless you've shown them a New York City cockroach. Those things are huge and evil. So it starts chasing me around the room. So I faked left and I faked right. I used all the moves that I had absorbed in high school football by injection, and dodged this way, that way, and finally, went to the door, opened the door, faked out into the hallway. The roach follows me out into the hallway. I jump back into my room, I shut the door, and I lock it for good measure. The roach was so giant, it couldn't get under the door. I mean, it was that big. It could have killed a house cat, just for fun. I mean, it was so Anyway, so the point is, I learned that was the end of my encounter with the roach that day, but I learned a very important lesson from the roaches of New York City. And now, in my life, armed with little more than sheer will and determination, I can stay put in even the most unwelcome of places. So, good luck getting me out of Philly. Thank you.